And we are live. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode with Beacon of Leadership podcast. I am RJ Horner, along with
Curtis Leong.
and joining us today, we have fellow Beacons,
Linda Tilson.
along with our resident expert in purpose,
Gary Gradley.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to carry on a great discussion today, I'm pretty sure, because we're working on the self-confidence formula in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. Any guru knows it. Any guru or, thought leader is familiar with the book. Everybody teaches from this book, and I've decided to use this as my teaching manual, much like Bob Proctor has done. This is going to be a book that's going to allow me to learn all I can about this process, but allow us to teach you at the same time. So when I picked up this passage, it was much as a sign, because we were looking for what we were teaching, and we had decided we were going to talk about definite or consistent action. And then the very next day, I read this passage, and it's become something I want to follow through for a while. So we did talk about persistent and consistent action last week. Linda was here and joined in that discussion. It was amazing. So I hope you guys look back for that discussion. But today, we're going to talk about definiteness of purpose. Now, we've decided here to talk about definiteness of purpose as well as a definite purpose. They're two different concepts, truly. And in fact, that's what Napoleon Hill says in the book. So, Curtis, would you like to read the passage for us so we can get started?
This is from the self-confidence formula. It's the first one. It says, I know that I have the ability to achieve the objective of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent and continuous action towards its attainment. And I here and now promise to render such action.
So you can see why we picked that passage. Again, we were already going to discuss persistent and consistent action. And there I read those very words in this passage the next day. So this one segment, the first step of 5 steps to help create this self-confidence formula. The first step has 2 or 3 principles that we're going to discuss before moving on to the next one. So today we're discussing definite purpose and a definiteness of purpose. So Gary, you are our resident purpose authority. What are your thoughts on a definite purpose? What is it, and why should it matter to us?
Yeah, thanks, RJ. Just trying to put some light on the subject here, because I am away camping, but I'm loving sharing some of these key principles. And I would say as a foundation principle, that the God, the creator, I believe, created everything, and everything he has created has a specific purpose. So that means you and I, right? We have been created with a specific purpose, but the problem is we probably just don't really know what it is, or we know it at a shallow level. And believing of greatness within each one of us, it's most alive, right? When we're on purpose, when we know what our calling is, why we're here on this planet. So I would define that as a definite purpose, like the purpose of our life, our calling, in contrast, but I think you're going to talk about the definiteness of purpose.
We will, and so thank you for that explanation. Yeah, when I looked it up, definite purpose. So definite meaning firm, clear, unlikely to change. And then when I looked up purpose, I mean, we know what purpose means. It's a reason something is created, something is made or done. So together, a firm, clear reason for doing something. And then we've heard it called also a definite chief aim or a major chief aim. But really what it is a goal, is it not? It's a goal, not just to achieve something, but it's a goal set for your life path, I think.
Yeah, and what I think is really important is that to a large degree, it needs to be, you need to follow one's heart, follow that passion that's in your heart, which I believe, God, the creator, puts there. And so when we can follow our greatest passion in combination of what we're good at, what our mission would be, and what the world needs and what we get paid for, which is a powerful model that we also use. So that combination and that intersection of those key areas of passion and mission and vocation and profession, that center point, that overlapping of that Venn diagram is the sweet spot of one's purpose, definite purpose.
Absolutely. And again, I've taken your course, so I understand this Ikigai model that you're talking about. And through that, it reaffirmed what I was doing and what I'm working on is my definite purpose in life. So I thank you for that, because it did, at a time where I was experiencing a little bit of self-doubt, it put me in a line where I knew that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I recommend people get out there. You do have a course you're promoting, because I know you're not going to be here long, and we're also having a signal issue with you because you're out camping. Today's your last day camping. So you're still getting valuable content out there, so don't worry about that. But I wanted people to know, in case they're wondering why the signal is not so great. But yeah, so you do have a course that you're setting up and you want people to know about regarding purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really a proven process that I actually created 10 years ago when I was doing corporate work, where I could work with 20,000 people over 20 years, employees and leaders. And so it's coming up. It's called Living on Purpose. It's coming up on September 21st. And people can go to, and Travis, maybe you can put this in the chat here. So www.onpurposepeopleperform.com. www.onpurposepeopleperform, or just get a message to RJ, and he can send it to me, and I'm happy to respond. So yeah, it's going to be a great group of people, and so the outcome will be you will have much greater clarity and commitment and confidence in your purpose, and be inspired to take action on it to make a positive difference in the world. I think we would all agree the world needs a bit of help, and we all contribute that by living on purpose.
Absolutely. We need that. I fought fate for quite a time. Didn't believe in, I believed I made my own destiny. And only time would tell how wrong I was in that statement, because we all have lessons to learn. And until we learn that lesson, we don't move on to the next portion of our life until we figured that part out. So I totally agree with you. And we need to be able to follow that purpose, that definite purpose that we all are made to have.
Gary, you want to give that link again?
Can I just, yes, it's www.onpurposepeopleperform.com.
Thanks.
You were going to say another comment there.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so, and especially during these uncertain times, the more that we can develop clarity and certainty for ourselves, the more successfully and smoothly we're going to go through this transition, this time, this economic time. And so again, like, it's clarity. So clarity of purpose is like, it's like a magnifying glass, right? When we marshal the sun's rays like into a really fine point, like a laser beam, there's power there. So there's power when we have clarity, and clarity brings us power and passion.
So we did lose Gary again. I had a feeling he had he's standing by. But I'm going to move on. So Linda, do you have a definite purpose?
Okay.
Oh, we've got Gary. Continue, Gary, if you can.
Yes. So, okay. Do you want me to wrap up?
Yeah, because I don't know how much longer we're going to have you. You kind of lost out there. So.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to wrap up and say that during this uncertain time, it's the most powerful thing we can do is to get clarity of our own purpose, our own direction, our own certainty. We can create that, right, by following our heart and using a proven system. So please check us out, and we're happy to talk with you. And yeah, I'm going to sign off here, guys. So keep up the excellent work. You're doing super good work. I'm actually so proud of you. I'm so proud of you guys. Like, I truly am. And I see, we talk about future self, which is all about your purpose and so on, and seeing yourself and being, then doing, then having. RJ and Curtis, I see you already having developed the tribe and the following and the contribution.
Well, I thank you. There was another one of Gary's blessings. Gary, I think you're cutting out here. So I thank you for your contribution and
Okay,
your blessings and,
we're good.
honoring you. Oh, and honoring us. Again, I appreciate that. And we're, trying to set ourselves up. We really are about positioning, but as we're positioning ourselves, we're working for others at the same time. We're working to set up those leaders. Because like you say, it's never been a more valuable time, more important time for people to step up and step into their leadership. So thank you, Gary. Thank you for
Absolutely.
joining us.
So,
And I don't know how long you're going to be with us,
thank
but
you. I'm
Thanks,
just signing
Gary. I
off
got
here.
your link up there now.
Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you. See
Thank
you,
you.
Linda. Bye-bye.
So let's move on then. Linda, I was about to ask you, do you have a definite purpose in life? And if so, tell people a little bit more about that.
I was thinking about the definition as you have read and what was also shared by Gary. And when I think about it, I think about that one thing, that one purpose that you are going to step in and do no matter what. That's what I see as a definite purpose. And yes, I do have a definite purpose, but it didn't necessarily come to me like you would like sit down and say, my definite purpose is, no, I had to fall into it with life experiences. And it really came to me when a coach put this out to the planet. And you already know, both you and Curtis, that my one word is beacon. That is my definite purpose. I am a beacon, shine the light and pathways for people to step into their personal power, whatever that is. And so that is my definite purpose, is to be that person in all the conversations I have every day with every person that I touch. And I do it without fail. And if you told me one day that I couldn't do that, it wouldn't happen. I would do it anyway. So that's how I know.
Absolutely. I remember a quote from Bob Proctor where he said, if you asked me to stop doing this, or die, you know what I mean? Or you'd shoot me, well, go ahead and shoot me. Right? Because there's no chance that I'm not going to do this. It's just who I am. It's what I do. And I think that's what a definite purpose, a major chief aim really is all about. And I saw a post, and we'll discuss it. You know what, Curtis? I've decided we're going to discuss this topic again because remember that Bruce Lee thing we were talking about?
Yeah, the quote there, yeah.
I think we need to run through that in its own separate episode. So people really need to understand this topic and how they can use it in their life. But we'll put it as another separate episode because this topic, the self-confidence formula and the topics within it, there's so much value in there, and I don't want to cut it short, and I don't want to do it an injustice.
Right on.
So we're going to touch on those topics and what they mean. So and again, for me, like you said, Linda, you are a beacon. I'm a beacon as well. I'm a shining light. And, that's what I see is we're providing that hope. We're providing that, safe harbor is what I like to say for people to come in, learn, grow, feel comfortable, and move forward. So that's what we do here in Beacon of Leadership. And I'm pleased to be associated with you and associated with the name and share that name with you. And so on the topic, I am a leader of leaders. I've known that for a long time. And so how do I set myself up? How do I walk that walk? And I always used to doubt whether, again, I said to Curtis and other people that I imagine myself as a modern day Bob Proctor, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, all these people whose names we emulate, we admire, we adore, we look up to. But how do I follow in those footsteps, right? And why, how do I, who am I to follow in those footsteps? And then something I'm reading lately is Neville Goddard, and he's talking about how when we look up to people, when we idolize people, we will always be trapped in the position that we are. We will never grow to that stage
Mhm.
because we're always looking up and above and going, how do I get there? But in order to get there, you just got to walk the walk. You just got to move and you just got to be that. Another thing I was told today was eliminate one word from your vocabulary. And that one word for me is become. In other words, I will no longer work to become anything. I will just be who I am and do what I'm supposed to do. So instead of becoming, it is just being. So I'm working hard to remove that from my vocabulary. Yeah, you have a comment.
Yes, that's really powerful. The couple things that you've shared about removing that one word from your vocabulary and the becoming, because you are, I am. And there's another one that a lot of us use, and I made sure I stopped doing it. And I see it so often. Women probably tend to do it more than men, but not necessarily. And that's that word, I just. Yep. I'm just doing this. Yeah, I'm just enough. You can use it in all these different things. It's like, I'm just, and then they fill in their title. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah, and then so
right.
you're bringing yourself back down another level, right? Rather than stepping into that level that you're trying to be, you're bringing yourself back down where you now have to look up at people.
Yeah, and the moment you put other people on pedestals, then you're doing exactly what you described. You're bringing yourself down. It doesn't mean that we won't aspire and want to emulate somebody, but it's more powerful when you can create from within and you just are. And who's to say that you won't be that next person and it won't have any relation to that person that you're emulating and wanting to be, because you're now that new definition, because you are. And so I like that you're sharing that with us, because people do talk about faking it till you make it, but saying I am doing, I can, all these other power words, the moment you start using them in a regular basis, a consistent basis, you become them. And so you're not becoming anything, you are. And so again, I'm just excited to add to that, because I think it really lends a lot of foundational piece to what we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And again, I have my self-confidence formula that I wrote out. He says, write out, you'll learn this in something, I think it's step 2 or step 3, where you have to write out your mission statement, basically. And at the bottom, it says, I am a beacon of leadership. There's no doubt. There's no question. It's just who I am and what I do. So yeah, that again. And another comment I heard, I see that you've unmuted, Curtis, so you probably want to chime in too. But another thing I heard is that as long as we believe in masters, as long as we believe in somebody higher than us, we will always be a slave. In other words, you'll never get there. You'll never achieve if you're constantly going, oh, if only this, if only I could do this, if only I was this, if only this happened, right? So you're constantly wishing and dreaming and believing in a higher power. Curtis, you had something to add, I guess.
Oh yeah, when you talk about where you write down, it's actually step 4.
Is it step 4?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And we'll get there. It's going to be a while before we get there, guys, because I know with each of these steps, there's like 2 or 3 topics that we really need to deep dive into in order to get this process out. So I talked about it in the last episode. I read out my statement, but I'll read it again when we get to step 4, just so people can hear how a statement should read. In fact, Bruce Lee's statement, if you ever read that, his is pretty powerful. And he did pretty much accomplish what he set out to do in his mission statement. So then we move on to definiteness of purpose. So let me read the definition of what I found regarding definiteness of purpose. And that is a way of life or a method of thinking. So it's completely different from definite purpose, which is a major chief aim, something you're definitely trying to achieve in your life. Definiteness of purpose, meaning a way of life or a method of thinking. So it's taking that that purpose that you're trying to achieve and living towards it. You're building everything around it so that you can step into that and achieve that dream or that goal or that major chief aim that you're working at. So I like that. Any thoughts on that one? How it's different, or what it means to you, and how do we work it?
I like it because it's indicating that it's a mindset or method. And so it's going to automatically, that definite purpose it's going to align with that, I would think, in some way. And what comes to mind as I'm hearing the other definition, in order for me to become a beacon, I have to have a mindset of possibility, of growth. And so I actually use a system, a method, when I'm leading people through a conversation to see where they can go with whatever's in front of them. And so again, that's where I shine the light. It is a method of questions that people get to see what's on offer, what's possible, and they can see where they're at now. They can see where they're headed, and they can look at the situation, and they can see what might stand in their way of getting there. So all of these things. And so it definitely will align with your definite purpose, I believe.
Absolutely. And I like the look. First of all, we use the term beacon, right? Because that's exactly what it is. We picture the lighthouse, right, with the shining light that only shines every once in a while when it gets directly in line of your sight. Because I love that, because we're heading towards that beacon, right? Well, a ship in the water, they're avoiding the beacon technically, but it is that light that tells you that this is what's in front of you, right? And I like that because look, if you're working your definite purpose, your definiteness of purpose is the way you get there, the how to achieve it. So you're heading towards it, and there's no shiny light syndrome, because there's only that one light in front of you. It's not all these hundreds of lights going, oh, squirrel, what's going on here? I got to turn there, I got to deal with this. So it helps you focus on your direction. So that's my thoughts in that area. So Curtis, do you have other thoughts?
I like that thought because it does have a little scroll method, and then the shiny object. I like how you put it into focus as a single light instead of multiple lights hitting you. So that's good. I enjoyed that the analogy of how to focus, and that's part of the being consistent, right? Just doing one thing and just sticking with it, and that's part of consistency, which leads into being persistent at it. Right, which is part of the definite purpose, right? Because if you're persistent with the one thing, you're definitely going to get there.
I like what you just said, and I'll tell you why. Because tomorrow or next week in our Bruce Lee deep dive, there's one of the segments there that says if you're focusing on more than one thing, you'll never achieve either, because you can't look straight ahead. You're distracted by one thing. Yeah, you're distracted by one thing or another, right? So so I like that. And again, we'll get to this. We'll deep dive into this. So before we start to end this off, I want to, because again, Napoleon Hill, when we think Napoleon Hill, by the way, Linda, you need to get this book and study this book.
You haven't got the
book yet, it really is a Bible for thought leaders.
Not yet. I haven't done it yet, but RJ makes a great case for why it needs to be in my library, because it's better than just Googling it when we're going to have our discussions. I really embody everything that you guys have been sharing. And so part of the journey is to get the book, to get the teachings, to go through, and all the people that are tuned in watching, they need to get the book too, so that we all can be moving together on the same pathway.
Yeah. And they have different price points for that book as well. So
I believe my first copy, I got it in a little paperback. And I think it was $5.64 at the time. I'm sure with inflation, it's a little more now, but
it's still under $10.
And that was Canadian dollars. So I mean, in the US, that was probably like $4.99 or something like that, right? So it wasn't expensive. Yeah, yeah. There's our Canadian dollar delivery. But so Napoleon Hill, he was given the mission of the study of success, accordingly, from Andrew Carnegie. And so I love his quote on definiteness of purpose. It says, if a man has a definiteness of purpose, he devotes most of his thoughts and efforts to the attainment of his purpose. I love that. That defines it. Like, we could have ended it all there, but I wanted our discussion on the topic, right? Because, look, definite purpose. It is about that one single thing that you want to achieve with your life. What else can we say beyond that? It's a definite chief aim. It's a goal, but it's that one major goal that you're working towards for your life. So I love that. And then definiteness of purpose is that way or path, that means of thinking and putting it all together so that you can work the path. You can head towards that beacon or that shining light. Anybody with parting thoughts? In fact, before we even part, actually, no, give me the parting thoughts first, and let's go through that. Curtis, you were already unmuted.
Yep,
so what are you
sure.
thinking about our discussion today? Do you have any value to add?
Well,
What do people need to know out there?
basically, we're all beacons, so I think we should be a beacon of whatever we wish to be. So, Linda, would you like to be a beacon of teams, or would you have a better idea of your beacon personality?
Oh, actually, the leading teams is my wheelhouse right now.
So you're the beacon of leading teams. Good. And you're a
Mhm.
beacon of leadership, RJ?
Beacon of leadership. There's no doubt about
Beacon
it.
of positivity.
And the reason Curtis is asking that, and I mentioned this to you before, Linda, is we're going to host not an inauguration, an induction ceremony. That's going to be our next event that we're working on in December, and we want to invite those people into our community and designate them as beacons. So there's why he was getting at that. Curtis is definitely a beacon of positivity. I'm a beacon of life and leadership. And then so you beacon of team leading or something like that. So
Effectively,
we'll work on that
you can work on that. That's
title.
fine.
But yeah.
Something rolls off your tongue a little bit easier, maybe.
Yeah. So, Linda, your parting thoughts. We've had a great discussion today.
Mhm.
What have you picked out of this? What should people know?
What I like is how you did the pairing of the definitions, because when you do that, if you know exactly what you're destined to be doing, and then you are wanting that method to get there, you do the two together and have that concentrated, dedicated focus. It's so much easier to get there. And for anyone that's working on a mission statement, that's the formula right there. To start with that, to ask that question, what would you do no matter what? Write it on the paper. Okay, now that you know that, what do you do to get there? Write that down. And I like where we're going with all of the different steps that we're going to do each week. And so I'm excited to be a part of this series, because we can only take in all of these golden nuggets and really step into where we're going, where we're headed. And we're starting with the very foundational piece and building on it each week. And so I love that.
Yeah, last week we talked about persistent, consistent action, which is part of the step. But again, persistent, consistent action, where, in what direction, for what purpose, right? So now take that definite chief aim, the definite purpose, and take that persistent, consistent action. And look, Curtis and I are here because of those two things right there. We know what we're doing, we know what we're working for, and we're constantly doing things so that this is going to become about. And that's where, I know that I can, achieve my definite purpose if, I take persistent, consistent action in the direction of my definite purpose. So I love it. That was a great discussion. And before we go, Linda, you are working on something special for another community, but I love it because you've invited me to be a part of it. Tell people a little bit more about what you are working on coming soon.
Oh, I'm very excited to share. Thank you for allowing me the space to share this. Well, we've heard of International Men's Day. And so what is going to be happening is on November 19th, the actual day that's set aside, I have a program that I'm building out. I have a team of men that are supporting with me, and we are going to be bringing conversations. We're going to be bringing breakout sessions to the things that matter to men most. We're going to get to talk about it. We're going to get to go deep into discussions. And why is that so important? Because opening up and having a voice and continuing a new trajectory of what it means to be a modern day man. It's so helpful. And, you know, people say, well, you're a woman. How can you like weigh into that? Why are you leading this effort? Well, it's simple. I have 2 sons, and I want them to have healthy masculinity in their relationships, in their feelings, being able to express them, standing up for people, to be effective in the workplace. And we do that with interdependencies. And so that's why I'm most excited, is because I get to be a part of building this future trajectory of this ideal that we're really trying to redefine or reshape the definition. And I'm just so excited about the few things we've done so far, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a man who recognizes International Men's Day. I've been a part of Voice of Men 360, who's also a sponsor of this program. There's good work there going on. And one of the issues that we've faced is, look, it's okay, it's great for men to step up and speak up, and we're getting more people sharing their voice. But we wouldn't get anywhere without women supporting and helping to carry that along, helping to carry the message. It creates more validation for what we do and what we're saying. So again, I appreciate all you do. And again, you're raising a young man yourself, you know what I mean? And
2 of them.
why not? Exactly. Why not make it a better world for them? Help create an open space where they can be comfortable to share their thoughts and their feelings, which, let's face it, as men, we're not supposed to do. But why not, right? Why do we have to be so closed and locked and unable to share who we really are?
Yep.
So thank you for that, Linda. I look forward to that. And I'm trying to connect. We are looking, you mentioned you are looking for maybe some celebrity, somebody to help, carry the message a little deeper, a little further to the masses. Again, it takes the voices that are here, the voices that are sharing the message. I'm actually working on connecting somebody. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I'm doing my best. I'm going to keep plugging away and keep trying to reach this person, because they talk about the modern man and why do I have to be man enough? So,
That's
I'm
wonderful.
trying to get him, I'm trying to get his attention and maybe get him involved in what we're doing. I'm not making any promises because I'm just trying to, close the gap
Yeah.
at this point. But yeah, so I'm proud of this, and I wanted you to have the opportunity. And we'll talk about it 1 or 2 more times throughout these segments because there's value in it, and I want people to know about it and get involved. So we'll tell more people once you get it planned. We'll tell people more about how they can get involved and how they can participate. So.
Perfect. So let's do our little CTA closing
Yep.
one. All right,
So
guys,
what do-
don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Smash like button, ring the bell so we notify we go live. And go to check out our podcast if you want to check it out after this. Just go to the beaconofleadership.com/podcast. Check it out there, guys.
Yep,
Thanks.
absolutely. And don't forget to ring that bell, right? Like you like to say.
Yeah, ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding.
So until next time, I'm RJ Horner along with
Curtis Leong.
and our fellow beacon,
Linda Tilson.
and we are your beacon of leadership. Thank you for joining us today. I hope this was valuable. I hope you learned a lot. So till next time, better days ahead.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.